on that note, I'm going to roll into final thoughts. I don't think I have much more to add, so let's go to final thoughts for you. Daniel, what are your thoughts on this entire issue?
I honestly think that perhaps there should be witnesses. The girl's friend should come forward, and I do think they should get more witnesses. And I think the judge should be able to exercise the law as to his discretion. That's why we elect judges. I do not think this should have to adhere to a mandatory minimum sentence. It also, there should be things to consider as how much older is the individual to the child. And what is the year gap difference has a lot to do with it, and the situation in itself can be unique. So I do think that.
All right, so not as hard-ass as you tried to make yourself out to be. That's fine.
Trying.
Okay. Yes, I agree. Judges are given the job to judge, and they should be given the freedom to do so. For goodness sakes. So Jeff, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts on the whole situation, as like I had said, I believe the parents are using the law, the letter of the law to defeat the spirit of the law. We do need laws like this to protect our kids, obviously, right, from predators, but you need to have, like the panel had said, we need to have judges be able to go in and look at the situation in its entirety and judge accordingly. I don't think ruining the girl's entire future by charging her as a felony, by charging her a felony, you know what I mean? You shouldn't ruin her entire life over a relationship that, on the surface, as far as we know, was not harmful, and that had been going on before she had turned 18, before it had become illegal. And so it kind of seems to me that the parents waited for this opportunity for her to turn 18, for her to go, or for them to be able to go to the police and say, predator. This lesbian predator is corrupting and destroying my daughter, and now I can do something about it. And that's just kind of what it seems to me on this situation. And so I think the laws do need to change in a way that does protect children from real predators, but that doesn't ruin regular people's lives for doing something that, unfortunately, goes on our schools a lot, because you do see a lot of older, seniors dating freshmen, and that's the way that it's been for years and years and years. And so those are my final thoughts.
Great. Excellent. And Brian, what are your final thoughts?
Hey, final thoughts. I'm sorry that we're actually talking about this as a topic. It's unfortunate that we have to be discussing this. I think that these parents of this girl are just, personally, in my opinion, of what I know, they're despicable. I think this is horrible, what they're doing. I think it's petty and, I mean, even more childish than a 14-year-old, what they're doing. And honestly, even though all of that, I'm scared for what may happen to Kaitlyn, given where she is and the climate of things there. So those are my final thoughts.
Yes, I am very concerned for her as well. And for my final thoughts, I just want to throw out my hope that this will all end in her favor and that nothing permanent will end up on her record, certainly not a felony. I don't want, obviously people with felonies, they can't get a lot of jobs. They have to report that they're a felon on every job application. They can't get financial aid for school. And if she were charged with felony child abuse, then she wouldn't be able to work with children or be a teacher. It's just absolutely tragic. And these parents, they just won't stop. They had to get her expelled from her school. They have to keep, ramming her down and bringing her down and have her arrested at her home. And they didn't even have the courage to talk to her parents personally and ask them to have her daughter stop seeing their daughter. They had to go straight to the police and then claim that they just used it as a final resort. Obviously, these are despicable people. out for their own malicious agenda against this particular girl. And the only motivation that I can glean from all the information of this case is that the only reason they would have any reason to be so malicious is because, just like Kaitlyn's mother says, that this girl's parents blame Kaitlyn for making their daughter gay, and they're going to get back at her in any way they can. So, Kaitlyn, our thoughts are with you. We hope this ends well. I know it's going to be a long battle, and it's not going to be a good and happy time. There's no happiness in court battles whatsoever, but there are a lot of people on your side, so there is still hope.